Elevating the news. This is 6035 Media.
The 6035.
Hey there, everybody. This is Bryan Grossman, Executive Editor at 6035 News Magazine. This is the 6035, the weekly show that recaps all you need to know in the news. Our guest in studio today is nraven, our culture reporter, podcast host, producer, and more here at 6035, and we're talking about the latest. Well, let's get the newspaper. Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Oh, hi, hello.
I didn't see you there. Whoa. Yeah,
Surprise.
You snuck past me.
Huh.
Why don't we get the newspaper out of the way, and then we'll talk about some other stuff.
That does sound good.
This week's cover story is Wake Up Call by our own Greta Anderson-Johns, which is... It was sort of born out of Academy School District 20 changing some start times at their schools. So we decided to delve a little deeper and look at sort of the science behind being a teenager, especially, and having to get up early to go to class. So interesting story from Greta. One thing in there that I thought was particularly interesting is that to wake a teenager up at around 7 or 8 o'clock would be like waking a regular adult up at around 3 or 4 in the morning. So
that's interesting because I say that as someone who wakes up at 5 every morning.
Right.
So
are you a teenager?
But I do remember when as a teenager, waking up at like, I don't know, was it like 6 o'clock or something? I didn't remember having that many issues with that. That's not to, transpose my experience to what they were doing but like I was just early and it sucked.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but I did it. Yeah. And I don't know, because I see a variety of start times on here, but I think we started at like 7:45, I think.
This was high school?
High school, yeah. Right. Up at Doherty.
Yep. And I went to Mitchell, D11 school. And I want to say we started, I'm a little older than you. But, probably 7:30, 7:45.
First period, yeah.
Right. And I even told Greta I used to play hockey in high school.
Oh.
And this was back in the 90s, and there were 2 sheets of ice in the entire city that every high school had to share, essentially.
Oh, of course.
So we had hockey practices that would start at 5 in the morning before class, which means you'd have to get up at 3:30 to drive there, put on all your stuff.
Yeah, I did that. Not hockey, but show choir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same thing,
Same
really?
thing. Yeah, on ice. But it was, we'd have to be there like 6 or so that meant waking up at 4:30 or 5 or something. Yeah. We had a trip to Lincoln, Nebraska, and we had to be there super early, so I was up at 2:30 or 3 in the morning.
To get to Lincoln?
To get to Lincoln. Well,
you would have to get up. Oh, okay.
To then get to Lincoln. Yeah, because we bust out there. Yeah, absolutely. But it was that was a nightmare.
When did you turn into a morning person?
Not that long. So I have no issue with morning or night, or because I did overnights in the past as well. My thing is consistency.
Yeah.
So that's why retail sucks. Yeah. Don't mix me up. Don't have me cloping, don't have me up at 3 a.m. the next morning when I'm there at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. closing the previous night. That sucks.
Yeah.
But other than that, I can be anytime.
You'll get used to anything.
Exactly. But my critters keep me normal.
Okay.
So 5 o'clock, they're like, hello.
It's time to get up.
It's time to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we have in this paper? Pam Zubak wrote something about prayers at the county commission meetings. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We do have some election coverage, a little bit of election stuff in here. We talk about Michelle Tellerico, who's a District 3 candidate in the upcoming city election.
One of the 2. Yeah.
And about her... she and her partner own a catering company here in the Springs and have for several decades. And so we kind of dig into how unbiased would you be when you have 3 decades worth of
contracting and stuff,
right?
business
contacts.
Right.
And some heavy hitters like the Broadmoor and things like that, I think. So.
And Norwood, if I remember.
Norwood's another big one.
Yeah.
Yep. So she would have to deal with, if she's elected, voting about certain issues that would impact those companies, and could also impact her private company. So
it seems that if you're in here for a while, especially if you're running a business, like that seems kind of inevitable. Like you're gonna eventually bump into everyone, right? So that is a very good question to ask.
Right. It's that tiny big city thing we have going on. Where
Right.
But 600,000 people, but
well, I mean, independent of the size, you look at any kind of city where the people who are happening is like 1% of everyone, and so if you're happening, the other part of that 1%,
0.99%.
Exactly. Yeah. So it seems like again, just inevitably you're going to run into and deal with those people. So
yep, got to be transparent from the start, right?
Right. Yeah. Don't let 6035 come out.
No. Pam will call. And know when to recuse yourself.
No, you can hear her notepad as she's going. Yes.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that.
No.
Some business stuff in here that's good. Downtown development. This is by Jeannie Devant, our business reporter. She talks about some of the development right in front of our building here. Initially, it sounds like it's slowed down a little bit, but this corridor of Vermijo down to the Olympic Museum, the farther west you go, you can kind of see the intention with the pavers and the landscaping and the parking lots and all that. But the idea was to really make it a pedestrian-friendly sort of area of downtown.
Right. Have you walked down there? Like right in front of the museum,
we
right
just,
up there. Because they have those huge wide sidewalks with the planters and stuff like that.
It's beautiful.
It is. It looks very expensive and nice.
Yes,
it looks very nice.
But it's also segmented, so it goes from that to not that in a hurry.
I know all about that. Yes, but it's early days for Citygate, really, because Widener's over there and they're building up those apartments.
The
and stuff
apartments
like
are
that.
already under construction, and I think once you have people living, that's their neighborhood, their backyard, you're going to start to see a lot of development. We talked with some folks over at Norwood. There's discussion of a high-end hotel that will perhaps go over there. Plus, I'm not speculating here, but the more people who move downtown, we still only have one grocery that I know of.
That is actually a huge
the downtown area.
That
and
is
it's
a huge
small
thing.
grocery.
It's very niche. Yeah.
Shout out to Bread and Butter.
Yeah.
And Stacy Poor.
Yeah. And overseas, those are big things because you have like the corner markets or something.
Bodego kind of thing.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
New York City, you got them on every block.
If you had those like every quarter mile or something, that would be something.
Right.
But we like to think big box grocery runners.
But we don't even have that downtown.
I know.
Where are we going to put the Whole Foods?
That's why you do delivery.
Yes.
I think Target would probably be a fit just because you have to pay the premium to be downtown anyway.
Right.
If they're going to bring in a big box, that seems like that would be
something bougie would be nice.
Exactly. Or, King Soopers are bringing in wine now that the licensing is changing and stuff like that.
All the groceries can start to do wine. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, wine. Downtown people love wine. That's a fact.
And then she did something, Jeannie, also in the no comment business section, protecting your cell phone, which I don't know why anybody would want a cell phone these days. But,
exactly.
Danger. So check out the paper. You also had something in print. You want to talk about Lightspeed? Yeah,
Lightspeed. They got in contact with us a few months ago, and then last month I went to their first Friday. And saw the place, and it was something else. I haven't been to all of the galleries in my time here yet. I'm gonna flip that up. Thank you. And this is it's a different space because it's a gallery up front, but then they also have the city's only permanent blacklight gallery, and people don't need to specifically create art for it. They can bring in their art, and chances are it's already ready to go because warmer colors pop out bring it a little closer to you, and darker colors recede. And they even have this little section where they actually strobe a RGB light, so you can they look like different compositions.
Interesting,
like a diptych or triptych, and they are really cool when they do that. But they also have a photo studio. They have what they call the monkey room, where they're going to turn that into a podcast studio, like what we've got here, I'm sure. And then they do tattoos.
I was going to say, tattoo studio too.
Nat Feather's tattoo shop in the back. So then afterward, it's like, let's take a deeper dive and see what's going on there. And in OCC, they're a few blocks down, so they're not on the traditional row, but they are right there. But very cool space, and curator Jessica De La Luna has been doing curations locally for 20 years, so she knows a lot of people. She's able to call on a bunch of specific looks and stuff like that. And so far, I've been to two First Fridays. And they've had some really, really cool stuff on display. So a really cool addition to the art scene.
And some cool photos by our own Brian Aller in there.
Yeah,
and,
that was the day
you
it
shot
snowed.
Some too, right?
For First Fridays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that was the day it snowed really bad.
Yeah.
And so he went down beforehand. But yeah, he got to see the whole thing. They have a bathroom with a massive mosaic in there.
Right,
That's
it was
actually
really cool.
Yeah, like glow in the dark and that. So.
I would want to go to the bathroom all the time. If I were,
just hang out in there.
Just sit there,
Yeah.
sit there, and take in the art.
Yes.
Yeah. Lots in the paper. We've only covered
a small bit,
a fraction of it, so be sure to check out this issue. I do want to give a major plug to our election stuff.
Yes.
Because as of yesterday, we went live with all of our 6035 Vote podcasts.
Yes. By our own Dave Gardner producing over there.
Can Dave say hi?
Can Dave? Yeah, he can.
All right.
Let's bring him up.
Say hey, Dave.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave.
Thanks for
Are you on the direct? Do you have the
shout-out.
director cam?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
All right. And Dave actually pulled a literal all-nighter the night of the 7th into the morning of the 8th.
Only college kids do that, and Dave
And
Gardner.
Dave, yes.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Getting 24 podcasts.
23, I think.
23
Yeah, 23. There were
shows
two
and
that we didn't
podcasts.
get.
Yeah.
But almost every candidate for both the office of mayor and
City
for
Council.
city council at large, and then both candidates for the District 3 race. We talked to both of them.
Yeah.
We were in this tiny room for
Very long time.
more than 12 hours if you count up, all of the interviewing and everything that
That's
went
not
into
including
it. So-
prep or teardown.
No, not at all. That was just the interviews. Most of the interviews average about a half hour. So they, I'd like to say they're in depth.
Oh, good.
And so 6035media.org/election is the place to go to check out not only the podcasts, but all of the election coverage that we've been doing. Pam, who's sort of on the election beat, has a lot of stories in there. We talked about the Tellerico thing. So lots of stuff to help voters make informed decisions. If you can't make an informed decision, it's because you're not looking hard enough. Right?
And last week you had Dave on. We were talking about 6035 Vote. A lot of people are looking for endorsements, and of course, since we're a nonprofit, we can't do it. But we're going to provide this because it's a tool. It's the best thing we have to make sure that you can make an informed decision.
Yep, and we're also co-sponsoring some League of Women Voters forums, one of which is happening this evening. So too late for the people listening to this probably, but
it's never too late.
Yeah, also check out our website and see what upcoming forums there are because
They're going to be streaming live.
We'll be streaming them. They also welcome people in person, as far as I know, to all of them. So if you wanted to show up in person, you can do that. You can ask questions. So check out 6035media.org/election for all your election stuff. Another big thing, we've got so many things. Rising Stars is our next issue that's coming out.
That's a big deal.
It's going to be the cover. For those who aren't familiar with Rising Stars, this carried over from our business journal days when we put together the Colorado Springs Business Journal. We have 25 young professionals under the age of 40 that we're featuring. All 25 of those write-ups are going to be in the paper next week. It'll be a big section there in the middle so people can read about the rising stars here in Colorado Springs. We are doing an event a week from today. That would be the 16th. That's our Rising Stars event. There's probably a better name. I'd have to look it up. But the Rising Stars event, I think you can still look into tickets for that. So maybe head to the website and check out our events page.
6035media.org/events. I think, or it's on the top bar.
Or just look at the top and it says events.
Or press the button.
Easy.
Yeah.
If you know how to use a computer, you'll figure it out.
Beep, boop, beep.
Yep. But I wanted to talk to you real quick. We're going to do two more things here, very Nick-centric things. The first one is your hot takes.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit at the end of the last show about hot takes and what you have coming up. Why don't you explain what hot takes is real quick, and then Tell us what you're working on.
Sure. So Hot Takes and String Breaks is our bi-weekly pop culture podcast by 6035 Media. What we do is we're young at heart. We usually do a cold open. So after the 6035 audio logo that we just started, but you're going to start hearing on all of our podcasts, whether it's Dave or Jessica. But we just start talking, and you don't know what's going on, and it's very disorienting. And
Do you know what's going on?
I know.
No? Okay.
Well, I don't know, sometimes. But then we go into the news of the past couple of weeks. We'll talk on tech stuff. We'll talk about pop culture, movies, music, things that are happening, trends, gaming. We did an Oops All Gaming News podcast. Every other week, they run about an hour and a half in length. And then we have a main event where we hunker down and we talk about something a little bit more in depth. As of recently, we've been covering The Last of Us. That's a show that's been really popular recently. We didn't do it this episode, but we're going to do a catch-up next time. But this time around, Victoria and I, Kelly had to call out, we went down the 10 Best Picture nominees for the Oscars, because the Oscars are coming up soon as well. And so I'd seen 6, she had seen 10, all of them.
Yeah.
So I got to sprinkle in, we got to talk about a number of them, and we kept it actually at about an hour because I had to boogie afterward. But it's if you're into the Oscars, it is perfectly keyed for that.
Okay.
For the moviegoers, the champagne swillers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Are there always 10?
no, not until 2009 or 2010 they had 5. Like
they
every other
doubled it, huh?
They double it because after The Dark Knight, they're like, yo, you can't be, you've got to expand this field a little bit and consider a few more films, because The Dark Knight, I don't know, I know you've seen it, right?
No.
Oh, amazing film, easily one of the best of the year, but it didn't get picked because they only had 5. So after that, they're like, well, all right, let's expand it. So yeah, 10 is a relatively recent thing in the grand scheme of things.
Who won the year The Dark Knight came out? Do you know?
I cannot even remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite out of the 6 that you watched?
My pick of the 6 was The Banshees of Inisherin.
And that was Victoria's too, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And
So I guess we should see it.
yeah, well, you should. Yeah, I mean, technically you should see all 10, but you know. It's a time crunch.
Yeah.
But we go down each one and we get to talk about, kind of the pros and cons and what each movie really tries to do, because it's cool to see when you see that many films, especially high quality, high caliber ones, it's interesting to see what each one tries to do and how they're different.
Okay.
So you're not going to see like MCU stuff over and over and over and over again. You're going to see some auteur was like, no, I want this to look a very distinct way or be a distinct way. And then another film does something entirely different. So you're not seeing the same thing 10 times over.
And none of them are superhero movies.
Unless you count Tom Cruise in Top Gun.
Top Gun, he is a superhero.
He is Maverick. So,
Yes,
and he wears a uniform. So, I mean.
A cape, I think, right?
No, you saw Incredibles, right? No capes.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how they do it. And Avatar, too.
All right, yeah, we'll check out Hot Takes and Streaming Breaks.
Yeah, every other week.
Every other week. And when's the next new one coming out?
Not this upcoming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. We'll have a bumper in
Not
here.
the 15th, but like the 22nd.
22nd, yes,
Sounds
that is
right.
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's wrap this up with your final project.
Yeah, this week on You Gonna Eat That.
Yeah, you have something called You Gonna Eat That?
Yeah, you gonna eat
Question mark? Talk about that.
Yeah, we kind of touched on it a little bit last week, but we've got 2 episodes up. They're 30 seconds. We're going to do some longer ones, 60 seconds as well. We've actually got the Vegemite one ready to go, but we did Vegemite. That was a trip. Did you get to see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, I put it in the teams.
Yep.
But they're so fun. I shoot and edit them in our little back office. It's just weird stuff. So if you have weird stuff, weird food, weird things, send them in. Send me an email, nraven@6035media.org. I've had people even want to send like hot wings and stuff like that. So if you've got hot wings, if you got weird things, if you got burgers made out of donuts, totally down for that.
If only I had something weird. Talk about some of this. Talk about some of the stuff you've eaten.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll be right back.
Okay,
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. So far, we've done stuff like strawberry and dark chocolate Kit Kats. Did that. This next week's episode, this actually should be going up in time with this 6035. We actually had the Hostess Ding Dong's latte. I actually had the other one too, the Twinkies one, but I only reviewed this one, the Ding Dongs. But and then we've got Vegemite coming up. We've got Peeps Pepsi. Peeps Pepsi is an experience. I will tell you that right now. And gosh, there was a couple other ones. Oh, the Ding Dongs was the one I didn't get last time. I think that's where I was at. Yeah, I totally forgot that last.
The Ding Dongs?
The Ding Dongs.
You
exactly.
did the Ding Dongs. You did the
Trader
Sesame
Joe's
cashews, which were pretty mild. Yeah,
they're
That's
okay
not
for
super
casuals.
adventurous, right.
So I give them 3 ratings: okay for casuals, enthusiasts only,
Yep.
and no with a period.
Okay.
Like definitive, don't do it.
Yep. And you did the, did you say the spicy, the Cheeto, the
Flaming
fiery?
Hot Mountain Dew.
Right.
Flaming Hot Mountain Dew. Yeah, it was the first one out. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Enthusiasts only.
Okay.
That's if you can find it still.
So, what
do you got?
In conversation the other day, I found out you've never tried kimchi.
Yeah.
And there just happened to be a bucket of it for sale at Costco.
Which is what they do.
Which is what they do. So I bought a huge bottle of bourbon and a bucket of kimchi.
Right together.
Right, because you don't do one without the other. And so I brought you some kimchi to try.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we're going to do this live.
We're going to do a live. You're going to eat that.
You're
That's
gonna
incredible.
eat that
Yes.
right now. I couldn't find chopsticks, so I brought some tongs.
Hell yeah. There we go.
And here's just a little bowl of kimchi. There's more where that came from. By the way,
fantastic.
on account of the bucket.
Yes. I feel like I'm in a country buffet. Like I'm just going in.
Classy.
Yes.
Yeah. So it stinks.
That is a sting right there.
Well, so before you even try that,
Yeah.
are you a sauerkraut fan? Because you lived in
Yes.
Germany for a while.
Yes.
So,
yeah. So I actually like mentally pregame this a little bit, but
Okay.
because it's cabbage.
It is
It's
cabbage.
spiced cabbage. So I'm-
Fermented, though.
So now this can go one of two ways because I love sauerkraut
Yes.
minus the sodium content. It's way too much sodium.
Yeah.
But then I don't like coleslaw.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
One's terrible and one's great.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's try this kimchi.
Let's try it. All right. Let's see how this goes. This looks like undercooked lasagna.
Don't get that on the microphone.
Oh, thank God. These are expensive.
Dave says, "Get off my lawn."
Yes. All right, here we go. Okay.
It's crunchy.
That
I
is
can hear
crunch.
it.
Yeah. That's how you know it's real.
Yeah.
I'm not adding this in post. This is really spicy.
It is.
This is almost flaming hot Mountain Dew spicy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I really.
I want to say it was 3 spices out of 5 on the packaging, but I might be wrong about that. I want to say Junga was the. I'm probably saying that wrong. JONGGA might have been the brand. I didn't bring the whole bucket.
Let's get one more bite in here
Yeah.
before we go.
What do you think?
I enjoy that.
It's good, isn't it?
What do you? This is a side thing. So I wonder, like, what do you serve this with?
I put it in ramen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That okay.
Even
I can
like the
definitely
little
see that.
microwavable
Yeah.
cheapy ramens.
The cup of noodles and stuff.
Throw a spoonful of kimchi in there.
Okay.
When we were at Costco, shout out to Costco, feel free to contact me on sponsorship opportunities.
Yes, of course.
We went super Asian food. There was like Korean chicken and that kind of thing. So you could use it as a side with that too.
all that kind of okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
I
just
can
a
see that.
scoop
That's
of it in
legit.
ramen is great.
That seems seems legit. Yeah.
So anything else you want to say about the kimchi?
I would say that this is an enthusiast only. So whether you like cabbage or you like spicy stuff, this is not a Sunday drive. This is something you got to be ready for.
It's a little funky.
It's
and,
it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, I love funky.
Yep. Me too. I'm a blue cheese.
Blue cheese with
spicy
wings?
fermented cabbage kind of guy. Yeah, I'll eat it with wings. I'm not a big wings fan. I think it's
What?
Yeah, it's a lot of work for the payoff, and they tend to be expensive. Like
They do tend to be expensive, but if you go boneless wing.
Okay.
Yeah, not bone in, boneless.
Any
And then,
particular place? Are you trying to get sponsorships too?
if you have some great wings, especially boneless ones, come contact us,
Yeah.
our sales department, and we'll be more than happy to consider
Taking a taste.
taking a taste.
We also have a food editor who might.
We
come
do,
out.
yeah, exactly. We get Matt Schnipper in
Matt
here from
Schnipper
time to
will
time.
come
Yeah,
and hopefully
talk
be
about
nice
yaks.
to you.
Hopefully,
Yeah, yak wings.
yes. That would be an episode.
Yaks don't have wings. All right, let's wrap this up. Thanks, Nick, for joining me in the studio today. Don't forget to pick up this week's issue of the 6035 magazine. Available on newsstands and in mailboxes around the city. Be sure to check out our website as well, 6035media.org. Throw an election after that, and you get to see all our election coverage. 6035 podcasts are listener-supported. If you want us to keep doing this, please join others in the community who value our bold, independent, truth-seeking journalism. Become a member. Visit 6035membership.org. That's SIXTY, the number 35, membership.org. This show is directed by Nick Raven, produced by Nick Raven and Dave Gardner, music by Jeremiah Walter. Our digital media specialist is Sean Cassidy. Art director is Dustin Glatz. Interim co-publishers are Ariana Platten and Ralph Roughton. And I'm Bryan Grossman, executive editor. We'll see you next time on the 6035.
The 6035.